Will Gilead Sciences finally be the savior that the stock market has been looking for? And is it too late to invest in this stock now, as we've seen news coming out on positive Remdesivir treatments for the Rona? Well, I'll let you know my thoughts on that, as well as the rest of the stock market. Have you missed out on some buying opportunities such as American Airlines, Carnival Cruise Lines, MGM, Wynn Resorts, all of those stocks that you guys have had your eyes on, which I know you have because you've been leaving some comments? Well, I'm going to give you some thoughts and opinions on that, and maybe some things to consider before you hop on the hype train here. All that and more coming up. That's right, guys. So Gilead Sciences has come out with news on positive data as a result of their phase 3 trials for their treatment of the Rona. Now, I'm going to give you some thoughts and opinions on that, and I think it's a fantastic development. But there's definitely some things to consider as it's impacting the stock market before just going in and starting to buy up everything. But before I get to that and more, I want to welcome you to this channel. Hi, my name is Brad, and this is Own the Chaos. The stock market is a crazy and chaotic place, and I've made it my mission to help you own it. So if you want to see more content as it relates to investing and trading in the stock market, I encourage you to hit that subscription button, hit that notification bell to get notified every time I put up a video. And if you get value out of today as well, I certainly would appreciate the good old thumbs up. Also, real quick before I get into it, I want to invite you over to the Chaos Crew. So for $4.99 a month, you can click on the join button on my channel and you get a watch list every single day from me before the market opens. So come check out the Chaos Crew, and I look forward to seeing you there. All right, guys, so Gilead Sciences, ticker symbol GILD, was made aware this morning that the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, that their study of the investigational antiviral Remdesivir for the treatment of the Rona, said it made a key goal of the tests in phase 2. Now, this doesn't mean that it's been officially approved, but it's a great step in the right direction towards getting that approval. Gilead also said that its own phase 3 study in severely infected patients showed similar benefits as people who weren't severely infected. And if all goes well, Gilead plans to send out the first 250,000 regimens of Remdesivir out for free. And they are now currently weighing out pricing options for this as well. So this is looking very, very positive for the treatment of the Rona. This is all great stuff here, and I don't want to take away from anything that Gilead has accomplished, because I think this is a tremendous step in the right direction in fighting this terrible disease. And if Remdesivir officially gets approved, this will be a monster move, and I think the stock market will directly be impacted as a result of that. But there is one slight thing to consider here, and that is that Remdesivir is set to treat this disease after you already get it. So in other words, it doesn't prevent the spread of the disease. And I think this is something that we really need to be cognizant of moving forward, especially as we're looking for investing in the stock market on some of these stocks that are impacted by people having to stay at home. We're not yet out of the woods here as far as the Rona is concerned, and people being allowed out of their homes too fast, I think, will still or could result in a massive second wave of infections, and I think that that could definitely directly impact the stock market in the way that you're investing. Having said that, I do think that your opportunity on getting cheaper shares for Gilead has passed at this point in time. I talked about last week their early setback on this trial back over in China that dropped the stock down below $75 a share. Was, I think, a really good opportunity if you wanted to get in on Gilead. And I think now we have seen that the response on these positive phase 2 and 3 trials are definitely sending this stock through the roof. This morning, it was halted on the good news and then gapped up to a high of $87.66 pre-market from its $78 close. Later, it then sold off, closing that gap, and started to zoom right back up to those previous highs. Now, as of this recording, it went up to about $84.75. Where it's going to close at today, no one really knows, but it looks like it's got some pretty positive momentum to stay above that $84, $85 mark, at least for the foreseeable future. Is it possible that there could be a setback, or this could pull back some after the initial hype? Absolutely, there's always that possibility, but I think that the biggest setback was probably back when they were talking about the issues that they were having in Asia as far as getting participants on Remdesivir, and I think that the mishaps with the WHO, all that stuff is behind us, and I think that drop that happened back then is probably the most significant one. And if there is going to be a pullback on Gilead, it won't be anywhere near what we saw last week. So as I said about last week's debacle, that Gilead definitely was an opportunity to buy back then, especially if these phase 3 trials were going to prove positive. Now, the only thing that I could see potentially getting in the way of Gilead continuing to go up is that they do have earnings this week. So that'll be very telling. But in my opinion, I don't think the earnings are going to matter too much. I think what the real main focus is going to be on this Remdesivir stuff. And I think that's really what's going to propel Gilead. If this gets approved, don't be surprised if this just bursts right through $100 per share. Which brings me to everything else. Now, the rest of the stock market has been reacting to this Gilead news, and we've seen some really great moves on some seriously beaten down stocks. Stocks like American Airlines, Delta, Southwest all surged on this news, as well as reports coming from Texas that they will be opening for business very, very soon. Not to mention cruise lines like Carnival Cruise, Royal Caribbean, and Norwegian have all surged up over 15% today as well. So look, as I stated over the last several weeks, I do think that the bottom of the stock market came in back at the end of March. I caught a little bit of heat for that, with everybody thinking that we were going to experience new lows, but I firmly believe that once we bounced over that 50% retracement from those lows, that we weren't going to revisit those lows again. And so I think your opportunity to get down on those lows are probably gone. I don't think that the stock market continues to just go straight up from here. I think that we do experience several pullbacks, and I think we are overdue for one currently as well. As I said in the beginning of the video, Remdesivir doesn't stop the spread of the Rona. It merely treats it once you've already got it. So we still don't really have a true timeline as to when everybody's going to be allowed out of their homes and get back to work. What's more is that we really don't know how fast this Remdesivir can be produced. You know, a Gilead can make promises on top of promises, but I don't think that they're going to be able to just push it out to everybody who has been infected by this disease. So currently, right now, the only real way to prevent the spread of this right now is to do what we've been doing all along up to this point, which is staying at home, wearing masks when we go out, making sure we're washing our hands and all that good stuff. Now, there are reports coming out from companies like Johnson & Johnson stating that they will be having a vaccine soon, but what soon means to them is about 6 to 8 months. So that's still a really long ways off. So in my opinion, when it comes to stocks like Carnival Cruise or even the airline stocks, I don't think that they're ready to get back to their previous highs before all of the market crashed, because we still have a very long road ahead of us. So I think today's move was a little bit more about hope and hype than anything else. When we look at moves like this, we then start to turn towards fundamentals, and lots of times the fundamentals will end up catching up with themselves, which gives you the opportunity to buy in on some pullbacks and some dips here. After all, we're already seeing offerings come out from United Airlines, and just today we saw an offering from Southwest Airlines as well. Now, in my opinion, I still like Southwest a lot. Ticker symbol LUV probably has the least amount of debt when compared to all of the other airlines that are out there. But, you know, an offering is still an offering, and it can still negatively impact the stock and you as an investor if you choose to just stay in this thing. Not to mention the billions of dollars of convertible debt that Carnival Cruise Line took out, in addition to the $9 billion of debt they had before the crash. And if you guys don't know what convertible debt is, let me just explain this to you. Convertible debt is debt that can be converted into shares. So basically what Carnival gets to do as a result of taking out $6 billion is that Carnival Cruise Line basically sold shares to lenders so that those lenders could sell the shares back into the market. That increases the share structure. It makes it harder for that stock to move, and really ultimately can bring the stock back down, which is why I said it's still very possible for Carnival to come back down to single digits. I know it's hard to believe, but it's definitely possible, especially if the CDC decides that they don't want to open cruise lines back up by June 26th. So is it too late to go back and buy up some of these stocks? In my opinion, no. I think it might be too late to get in on those really low lows on some of these beaten down stocks, but I think there's definitely going to be a pullback. And look, I don't want to take away from any of the positive moves that happened today. I don't want to take away from Gilead and the steps they're taking to solve this crisis and get people out out of their homes and get people back to work. But I also want to bring in a dose of reality, and that there is still a lot of damage that needs to be fixed here. And I think that throughout that process, we're going to see these pullbacks. There's still no guarantee that we're going to be allowed out of our homes anytime soon. There's still no guarantees that people are going to be going back to work as per usual. There's still no guarantees that the cruise lines will be back up and running this summer. We've heard reports that there might be no sports, there might be no baseball or anything for the year 2020. So that's still very much on the table. And so I think that if any of that comes to fruition, we will certainly see some sort of pullback in the market, which will give you an opportunity to then buy it up on that dip. Having said that, I do think that your opportunities are becoming fewer and fewer. And if you are sitting on a pile of cash waiting for the stock market to come back down to its bottom or crash through it, I would be using that cash at this point to be buying up some of the dips as we see pullbacks in the coming months. And so that would be my approach. And again, that is just my opinion, but more importantly, I want to hear from you. So if you guys could leave me some comments down below on my thoughts and my opinions here. Do you agree with me, or do you think I'm absolutely nuts and that the stock market is going to continue to go up from here and that this is only the beginning? So I would love to hear from you. I replied to all of the comments down below, so please feel free to respond to me. And finally, I just want to invite you over to my daily mentorship. So if you're interested in learning how to trade in the stock market or invest, I'd like to invite you over at WeTradeHQ.com. Now, what I do on my daily mentorship is that I go live with folks from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern time via a Zoom chat, kind of like just how I'm talking to you right now, but people actually get to interact with me every single day. Not only that, but those live streams are recorded and saved for you to go back to watch over and over again. Also, I'm with folks all day in a private chat as well. So if you want to be a part of that for free for 30 days, I have a promo code for you that is STOCKS. So if you go to the link down in the description below and enter the promo code STOCKS at checkout, you will get your free 30 days to come be a part of the daily mentorship over at Own the Chaos. So if you want to take advantage of that, I would love to see you there. It's a great community to be a part of. We just learn together and celebrate each other's success. It's not a follow the leader type of thing. It is truly just a great community to be a part of. So you want to go check that out. I'd be happy to see you there. And that is going to do it for me, folks. So again, if you got value out of today's video, I certainly would appreciate a thumbs up. And if you have yet to have subscribed to this channel, hopefully I earned that today as well. So please make sure that you're doing that. And as always, folks, I will see you all before the bell, and B. Smith is out. All right, guys, so America is starting to open back up for business. So what does this mean for Carnival Cruise Line, your Royal Caribbeans? So Carnival Cruise Line, as of this recording, is trading